Morning and welcome all to Crafters TV here on this, I was going to say lovely Friday, but it's slightly grey outside, but it is quite warm. And yes, you've got me for this first hour. It is 10 a.m. here in the UK and we are going to kickstart your day at Crafters TV with a Crafty Stash show, which I've been doing all week and been absolutely blooming loving them. I'm almost sad that I'm not going to be doing any more just yet. I've got to wait now for a couple of weeks. Oh, and I have really thoroughly enjoyed them because you guys have been keeping me company because I am here all by myself, quite literally. Well, I say that, I always say that, but I'm here in front of you guys all by myself. But yeah, I hope you can join me for this Crafty Stash show. I'll give you a little teaser of what's coming up later on as well, because at 12 p.m. we have got Wake Up Call. And Wake Up Call is a little sneaky peek, like we always do. We drop those little sneaky peeks into what's coming up in the day, which at 2 p.m, get this right, 2 p.m. here in the UK, it's Craft House, which is all about our lovely friends at Hunky Dory. And we can't wait because I've seen the kits. They're absolutely delightful. We've got one that will cover all the males and one for the females as well. So it's a really gorgeous, and when I say a kit, it's like everything that you need for that. But we'll give you a little sneaky peek. Early bird catches the worm. Little bit of word to the wise as well. We don't have unlimited amounts of what we've got. So if you want to get ahead of that game, make sure you join myself and Ben at 12 p.m. for Wake Up Call, where we are going to be showcasing and showing you what it is all about. And then if it sells out, we're going to have to change the plans for Craft House at 2 o'clock. That's all I'm going to say. So do make sure you join us then. Then at 5 p.m, I'm off. I'm not here. Well, I am still here because I've got tomorrow to do. However, I've got a bit of an early finish because Ben has got the Friday Night Live with not one, but two special guests. Am I allowed to say it? Johnny said, yeah, I don't want to steal Ben's thunder though, in case he's not said anything. Can I just say it? Okay then, so first special guest is, of course, the lady herself. Our lovely Sarah Davis is in the building for Friday Night Live. You know how much she loves the Friday Night Live. She's elbowed me out of the way, quite literally elbowed me out of the way. She went, I'm doing this one, Debs. But she does have another special guest joining her, which you may remember. And now then, I can't remember when it was, but it was a while ago. One of her twirly-whirly friends from the Strictly Come Dancing floor is going to be joining her here, and that is, of course, the gorgeous Katya, which I know it will be utter chaos. I mean, I hope Ben's ready. He's probably having a little lie down as we speak. It's going to be an absolutely belter of a show, Friday Night Live. They've got demos planned, games planned, and so much more. It's one of the most, well, I love Friday Night Live. I always want to be on that show. It's an absolute belter, and it is today because she's got two special guests. So that's all that said. I am not here on my own, though, because someone twittering in my ear is our lovely Sam, and the one that said I could spill the beans, producer Johnny's in the building as well. So if Ben shouts at me, we're going to lay that blame at our lovely Johnny's door. So yes, it's just myself and Sam steering this one, Johnny overlooking things, and we are going to do a Crafty Stash. Now, on the social media side of things, it is our fabulous Radical Rachel, and we can't wait for you to send in your comments, your questions, anything you want. It's live and interactive all day, so do make sure that you keep me company. Let me know what you're up to. I've been asking you all week, so we've discussed books. What kind of reading you like, because I've taken some good notes on the books that were recommended for me. We've talked, what else have we talked, Sam? We've talked coffee, we've talked, I'm trying to think as well. Day 5, and I think the brain's I've forgotten what we've talked about all week. We've talked plenty. Keep that talk and that chat flowing, whether you're watching on YouTube or on Facebook, so that Rachel can keep us company. I can already see lots and lots of people already joining us. Well, good morning, whether you're watching on the big telly or the big screen via YouTube, or if you're watching us on Facebook. It's lovely to have your company. Do keep me entertained while I'm doing a little bit of crafting, and you can craft with me if you want, because we are going to be talking all things 3D embossing folders. Well, some of my favourite 3D embossing folders of late, which is the macro floral embossing folders, and I'll talk about that in a second. But let's have a look who's in the building. Michael Adams, first one in the building. Good morning, Michael. And Stephanie, if you're watching. Is Stephanie crafting, Michael? What's she up to today? Steffi makes the most beautiful things, and I know she's always tinkering away in that craft room. Well, let me know what she's doing, Michael, and it's good to have your company. Victoria, the crafting germ, is in the building. Yes, Victoria, the crafting German, is in the building. Good morning, Victoria. She said, oh, good morning, gorgeous Debbie. Hope you're well and keep hanging in there. Get lots of coffee. Do you know what I forgot to get before the show? I forgot to get a coffee. Juice will have to be the order of the day this morning because I've completely forgot to go and get one. I've had one, but I like to make sure I'm well watered with my coffee, but I have forgotten. Sandra Rowe John says, morning, Debbie, with a little kiss to you too. Christine Mahoney. Good morning, Christine. What time is it? It must be really early, Christine. Good morning, everyone, and hello, beautiful Debbie. You look stunning. Why, thank you very much. Two-piece ensemble today. Shall I give you a little twirl? There you go. Everyone's been commenting on my little dresses. TikTok special. You can find me on TikTok. Nothing to do with crafting. Mainly all about my clothes, because I do love a little TikTok special. There you go. Before anybody starts asking me where I've got it from, because I've already had about 2 people ask me this morning. So thank you for that, Christine. Oh, much love to you, my lovely. Alison Mason says, morning, Debbie, and the crafty crew. It's only Sam at the minute. Is Johnny still there? Is Johnny in the background? Good morning, Johnny, too. Says our lovely Alison. Catch was on the 28th of March. Thank you, Rachel. So if you love that show on the 28th of March, stay tuned for part 2. They've got loads planned, let me tell you. I've got to get it all ready for them later, what they're planning on doing. And if I'd said a bit of sparkle, well, I mean, it's Strictly, after all. So, of course, there's got to be a little bit of sparkle involved. And Rachel, she says she's laughing her head off. She says she's staying late for the chaos. I should be watching, but I'm going to be watching from the comfort of the house. I'm not going to be in the studio. I think it'll be a bit chaotic, and I'm just going to watch from the comfort of my home with a nice little drink. Louise Burton says, good morning, everyone. Carla Williams, morning, Debbie. Morning, Carla. Julie Thorpe, morning, Debbie and all the CTV crew. Diana Green says, good morning, Debbie. I can join more of these shows now I'm retired. Are you enjoying the retirement, Diana? I've got about 10 years left before I can retire. And I can't wait. No, I'm kidding. I love what I do, and I would love. Do you know what? Do you know what it means for you, Diana? You can craft more. That means you've got more time to spend on crafting, which I absolutely love. Are you enjoying retirement? Let me know. And also, Amelia Sirocco on Facebook says, "You always make me smile, Debbie." Well, thank you very much. You always make me smile. Oh, do you know? Come here. Come here. This boy's working. I mean, if you think I'm hard-working, this lovely young man, Liam, is also busy working as well. Did you hear me say I wanted a coffee?
I was stood right there.
Oh, do you know what? I must have been oblivious. I never saw you.
No, I'm pottering away.
Pottering away. He's getting ready for...
QVC with Sarah.
So you might want to tune in at...
2 p.m. UK time.
2 p.m. UK time. Thank you very much,
I've got a question for your morning chat.
Go on then.
What do you have on a summer picnic?
Ooh, now there's a question. This will help Liam out as well. So guys, can you give us some ideas of what you would like
on a summer picnic?
On a summer picnic. Let us know. Let us know in the comments, and that'll help Liam out because he's got to the set because he's doing it from here. So please do let us know. That is a great chat. Look at that. God love him. Now, I am sweet enough. I don't know how much you thought I needed. I don't know how much you thought I needed in terms of sugar, but I am sweet enough. But thank you very much. I'll just leave it over here for a second. Just bear with me. I'll be back. There you go. Thank you very much, Liam. I can't believe I've got a coffee. He's an absolute godsend and an angel, and I love him to bits. And yes, he's one of the hardest working fellas in this building, isn't he not, boys? Yeah, we've got a big yeah. Yeah. Right, so good morning, Alexandra, Rachel and all. I'm relaxing a bit today. Off to the Evesham, off to the Evesham store with my daughter tomorrow. Then I've got to completely clear out my kitchen as the landlord is having it refurbished. Oh, new kitchen as well as lots of crafty goodies. That's absolutely fabulous. And Michael says Stephanie is finishing the insides of the last card she made, making space for Keith's Rainbow Fairies collection. Still takes my breath away, that collection. It's absolutely beautiful. She's going to love it, Michael. I tell you, she'll love that one. And Robin Morgan on YouTube says, good morning from California. It's 2 a.m. Can't believe I'm watching. Well, I'm happy that you're watching, Robin. 2 a.m. in the morning, pure dedication is all I'm going to say, because it is very early. And Christina Mahoney says it's 5 a.m. from where she's watching, but you're worth getting up early for. big love to you all. For all you early birds, all you, if you're like me, night owl, although yesterday I kept falling asleep very, very early. But yeah, thank you for joining me. Now, let's get on with it. 10 minutes, I keep doing this, Sam. 10 minutes in, I'm busy chatting, I'm forgetting that I've got something to do. But it is all about the 3D macro embossing folders. Crafty Stash is all about us. It's us who stand here and be able to share with you and make with you things that we love and things that you may already have got. So it's things in your Crafty Stash. And I love the 3D embossing folders. What I've wanted for a long time, and now I understand because I spoke to Leanne about this, was about having a 3D cut and emboss folder, which is quite difficult to do in terms of how you get the die to in line or align with the level of embossing. So the thing that they did and designed was an embossing folder with a die and a stencil. And that's what you've got. That's what we've got in this collection, which I absolutely love. And I am going to be playing with the roses because it's one of my favourites. You may have, if you already have, that gorgeous... Now, let me see if I can remember what it's called, because I keep calling it a gerbil. Gerbera? Gerbera? Is it gerbera? Thank you very much, Liam. Gerbera. So you've got your gerbera. What I love as well, it's entwined around shapes. So that's your love heart one. That's your circle one. Then you've got the, is it the echinacea? Oh, get me knowing my flowers. Echinacea, which is like around a diamond shape. And then lastly, now then I can never remember, anemone around a, what's a six-sided shape? Hexagon? We'll go with that one. We'll go with that one. But they were the ones that we did in that launch, and I'll show you a few samples as well, which honestly, the things that you can do with these, they're such a versatile one, but they are beautiful. Look at that one, it's coloured in. It's breathtaking. It really is absolutely beautiful. And whether you want to make it into any style, shape, I mean, I know a lot of our team coloured these in and then created the most beautiful shaker cards, or maybe you want to create things like easel cards and have that focused onto there, or take it into your bag making, a beautiful bag there, that's a gorgeous one as well, or I mean, this is really clever. I love the way that that's being used. A little bit of white on white with a tiny bit of gilding wax, but split in half to create a gatefold. That is also extremely clever. So many beautiful things. And you can go big with these. It doesn't have to necessarily be small, because look how gorgeous that is on a Z-fold card. It is beautiful. And look how she's created that inlay, somewhere to write your piece, but just contrast. Beautiful colour, a bit more muted, somewhere to write all your sentiments that you want to write in. These are absolutely stunning, and that is exactly what we're going to play with. And I'm going to play a little bit with inks, with a bit of, I would say paste then, gilding wax over the top as well, because me and Sam were having this little discussion before the show. I went, Sam, shall we go big and colour, or shall we keep it nice and easy, knowing that we've only got an hour and now 45 minutes? And Sam went, colour. So we had to come to a compromise, because I wanted to do gilding wax, Sam wanted me to do colour, and I thought we'd meet in the middle. We'd do a little bit of colour with ink rather than with alcohol markers or pencils, because time constraints. So that's what we've decided on, didn't we, Sam? Yes, between ourselves, that's exactly what we decided on. So, next decision, do we go big card, small card, or in between? In between? In between. He says it to me every time. He wants to go big. We'll go 8 by 8 then. Should we go 8 by 8, Sam? Let's go by 8 by 8. Right, come on then. Let's get cracking. So I have got some. Oh, that's nice cardstock. Where's that come from? Oh, thought this was from my white card box, but clearly we've been shuffling other pieces into there. Right, I'll start with my card base. So we're going to come in then with 8 by 8. I've got my large guillotine, and we are going to. Ooh, Tim's already come in with a question. I have 3D embossing folders, but seem to struggle with the paper creasing at the edges. I've cut cardstock to just inside the folder, so no overlaps. It depends on, and for example, tomorrow morning I've got the craft along with the vintage rose, and I'm using the rose embossing folder. So there's concentrated all the design on the inside, but lots of white space. You have to cut smaller, Tim. So you need to go a little bit smaller. I'm not saying that's the one that you're using, but I can give you some hints and tips about that. Absolutely no problem whatsoever, because that is always an issue, and that's because of, depending on your embossing folder. And Tim, whilst you're here, let me know which embossing folder it is. And then I'll see, I might not be able to do it in this hour, but I'll see if I can get said embossing folder so that I can give you a little... a quick little tutorial with it. So do let me know which one it is, but it is all down to how you cut the piece down. So let me just move that out of the way. So this one is 8 by 8. This one is 8 3/4 by 8, and I'm just going to put my score line in using the scoreboard, and we'll make a card base, and then we'll get cracking with mats and layers, and also with making the card. That's the way I'm looking, Debbie. So I'm coming in at 3/4 of an inch down the side of here. You see, we're keeping it nice and simple today. I think I bit off more than I could chew yesterday with my cube card. All thanks to Sam. Go big. It did actually, Sam. I was quite impressed. I ain't gonna lie. I was quite impressed myself. And it did get quite a lot of comments from the team here. And they went, "You did that in an hour?" And I went, "Yep." We did it in Crafty Stash. So I was pretty pleased with myself. I was, but I've been really enjoying the Crafty Stash shows. If I could do them all the time, I really enjoyed it. Can't tell you how much I enjoyed it. Right, so we're going to just stick that together, and then I'm going to just put my burnish line in to keep that cardstock. There we go. Might just need to trim that down just a tiny slither off, and push that up to the top. There we go, it just needed that little, and I mean little tiny slither, just to bring that in line. And I'm just going to make sure this is all, because if you don't get it right with your measurements, when you're doing your mats and layers, it can all go a little bit, peak tongue being an expression we use here in the UK, which means wrong. So let's just start with the base, and then we're going to come in with mats and layers. And my choice of papers with the roses was the Love Heart. I've just been having a little root around in Jake's boxes again, and I just thought that didn't sound right. That sounded completely wrong. Apologies. Big boxes that we have in the library is what I'm meaning, just so you're aware. I can see it's going to be one of those shows again. Oh, dear me. Oh, now then, LDD on YouTube. Hi, Debbie and all from the farm near Philadelphia. One question, are 3D embossing folders thicker than 2D? The thicker folders have been giving me trouble. Yes, they are. A lot of people don't realise that, but a regular embossing folder is made of a thinner, and I mean thinner because it's only got one level of embossing, one raised level of embossing. A 3D has got multiple layers in there, so the material that it's made from is thicker. So yes, and that will be down to then your sandwich. Now, if you have a Gemini, I'll be showing you that sandwich. If you haven't, you would have to revert to a 3D embossing folder from your manufacturing, wherever your machine's manufactured from. So you would look at their guide, because that would give you an indication of what platform you would need, but I can show you how to do it on a Gemini machine. But do let me know, LDD on YouTube, which machine you've got. I'll see if I can help. I can't promise because I don't use anything other than Gemini, but I'll try and give you some help there. Liam, we've got some things coming through. Strawberries and cream, pork pie and Scotch eggs. Scotch eggs, oh gosh, I love a Scotch egg. Picnic corn on the cob, mac and potato salads, grilled chicken. Loads coming in. Sausage rolls, mini pork pies, cocktail sausages, an array of sandwiches. We've got loads coming in.
I've got sausage rolls.
Sausage rolls, there you go, absolutely. And Liam, you need handcrafted sausage rolls, Tim's saying. Oh, Rebecca's come up with a good one. Strawberries, cream meringue, Prosecco, French sticks, cheddar brie, salad quiche, sausage rolls and pork pies. Love all your picnic ideas, I ain't going to lie. You've got the Vintage Roads collection. We'll try definitely to watch tomorrow, and I will show you how to do it, because I get you what you mean, and it's down to the fact that all the embossing is in the centre of the embossing folder. There's a lot of white space, so you have to come down that little bit more in terms of cutting it down to size, but I'll explain that more tomorrow for you. Right, let's get cracking. Now then, I am going to make, first of all, because I'm going to keep that to one side. We'll do the mats and layers in a second, but we'll come to my favourite part, which is the embossing folder. Now, these embossing folders are 5.5 by 5.5, so they're designed to work with a 6x6 card base. But of course, you've got all three pieces there with your die and your stencil, and I say stencil, it's almost a template as well, to place over so that you can, and it'll become more apparent in a moment. But what we're going to do is we're going to concentrate on that one. Now, I am going to be using water reactive ink, so I'm going to switch to a sheet of watercolour cardstock, just for a premium result, an optimum result when I'm using this as well. But we're going to go in and we're going to cut this down to, now, to start with, cut it down to 5.5 by 5.5. Just so I can show you that would fit into your embossing folder, literally with a little bit of a overhang. And the reason that being is because all embossing folders, and if I just lay that flat, they have like a little frame, like a little, almost like a mat and layer frame around there, so that the embossing doesn't go right to the very end and right to the very end. So it's got like a little border just around there. So that's why we always recommend that you cut that down just slightly shorter. And I always try to do it before I start with this. So I'm going to come in at 5, and I'm going to come down to just over 5.25 by 5.25. There we go. And that now would fit into your embossing folder, and it fits in really nice and neat. Right. Now, the other way around to this is, because obviously you could keep it as a solid piece if that's what you wanted to do. But obviously this has been designed to create your centre part with the die. So for me, this is how I do these, and how I use this is where you want to place this around the edge. Okay. Now also this fits in, so your die actually fits in situ, and it almost like clicks into place. Before I do that, I'm going to make sure I've got that lined up with a little tiny fraction of a border. And I'm going to put some low tack tape onto mine to hold it into place. So low tack tape, there you go. Let me grab some low tack tape. And I'm going to just hold that now into place. So let me just move that again. There we go. Gosh, the studio light's that bright, I can't see it. There we go. And I'm just going to pop that on the back. And that's just to hold my stencil onto the cardstock so that that doesn't move. And then I'm going to place that and click that into place like so. Okay. Now, when you do that, this is not when you would, because you'll have seen the other guys do it. They then lift it off, take the stencil off because they've got it into place. I don't. I keep mine in. I find it much easier to do. You do have to be careful, so you do have to make sure it's clicked into place, and also make sure it is stuck down with 1 inch of its life. So you don't want to be risking that like that and then sticking it through the Gemini, because the power of the Gemini with the die in place can move it out of place, and then you'll end up cutting the template, and that's not what you want to do. Me, I find this easier. This is the way that I do it. The other two guys, Debs and Craig, would probably show you a different way. That's just my personal way, and I know that Sarah's probably done it in the past where she's then lifted the template off because she's got it into place. I don't like to do that. That's just my way. There's no right or wrong way. Genuinely, there's no right or wrong way, but you just need to make sure you've got it held down, because if you don't hold it down, you will cut through that stencil, I can promise you. Now, with that, it is a template, it is a die, and it's a thin metal die, and it's a quite straightforward one. So it's just your cutting plates with your plastic shim and your other cutting plate on the top, and you're going to run that through your die cutting machine. Whew, got warm again. Every time, Liam, honestly, every time, every day, sorry Sam, I was calling you Liam then, every day at this time, I get hot and bothered. So Liam is kindly going to go and put my fan on for me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So not only has he supplied me with coffee, he's now keeping me nice and cool. And what I'm hoping is, I forgot I've put my samples here, I'm hoping nothing goes awry and everything starts falling over. We're not going to worry though if it does. But thank you very much for that, Liam. Oh, it's like instant cool down. Did I mention about the old wives' tale about if you drink a hot drink, it's meant to keep you cool and regulate your temperature? I think we did, didn't we, mention that? Never know whether to get back to me if that's what they think is true as well. But that was my nan's little old, I say little old, bless her, but her little bit of wisdom she imparted on me that sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. Now, there you go. So just to show you that I haven't cut into the template at all. You can see the template is absolutely fine. But what I've now done is I've got my piece perfectly in position. And I'll just move that out of the way so that I can now put the embossing folder and the placement of my roses perfectly in there. And that's how you create that lovely aperture. I love these for that reason, and literally you place that in now and you can see that the alignment, and even if you think, if yours is cut just that slight different fraction where you've got a little bit of the space, don't worry, it's not the end of the world. But that now is ready to go in, and the 3D embossing folder combination is your cutting plate, your magnetic shim, which I've put back down here, and then your plastic shim. And that is your 3D embossing folder on a Gemini machine. If you're using the MIDI, it just goes straight in, directly in. You don't need to put any platforms or plates with it. You just put the embossing folder with your cardstock through the mouth of the machine, and that gives you the 3D combination for a MIDI. A Gemini 2, or your original Gemini, or Gemini Junior, it is your cutting plate, your magnetic shim, and your plastic shim as your combination to create, oh, seriously, absolutely divine. Oh my goodness, has somebody had some ink in there? I've gone all pink. What the? We'll let it off. We'll let it off because I am going to be using some of the beautiful water reactive ink pads as well. So now you can see it almost looks like that pressed, want of a better word, do you know the air clay, the dry, is it the air dry clay they call it, or something like that? That's what it looks like. It's got that beautiful texture of it. Absolutely stunning. So we're going to work on that in a second, but we are going to have a little nosy because I can see some questions flying through now. So I'm going to try and help with the questions. LDD doesn't have a Gemini. My memory is awesome. Yes, it is, Rachel. I don't know how you remember these things, but you do, and you blow me away with your memory because you are fabulous at that. But let's see if we can help her, guys, in the comments if she tells us what machine it is that she uses, because you might be able to help her with that one as well. Alison Mason on Facebook said, would it help to spritz the paper with a bit of water before embossing? I'm sure I've seen someone do that. You can do. You don't need to. I never do. Hand on heart, I've never used any spritz water, anything like that. You can do if you want to, but personally it doesn't make a jot of difference. You'll still get that lovely 3D embossing. So just try it. If you like it, try it. If you don't bother. You don't need it when you're using 3D embossing folders. Good morning, Tracy on YouTube. She says she's crafty, and good morning to Debbie and the team. Crafty Pete's dipping in and out today as my daughter leaves secondary school today forever. Growing up. Gosh, look, I'm tearing up. No, I'm not. I've got a terrible watery eye. I am tearing up because I know how sad it is. I'm just trying to find said tissue to help with eye. Ladies and gentlemen, I put some false eyelashes on for my ball last week, and I've had no end of problem. I've had to take them all off because I've had a bit of a bad reaction to them. So if you think I'm crying every now and again, it's not. Just got a very bad watery eye, but I'm okay. Teresa Rogers on YouTube says, what is the collection called that you're using? So the official title is 3D macro embossing, 3D macro aperture embossing folders, and they, I think, are still available on the website. I would go and have a little look. I'm not here selling anything today, as you can see, but honestly, just go and have a little look, because I think that's what they're actually called. And Stephen Nicole on Facebook says, the die used to be connected to the embossing folder is the reason they don't do that anymore. I think I get that. I think I do. And, LDD says she's got an Empress, but I wondered if I bought a MIDI, could I use my 3D folders? Yes, you can. The mouth of, like, the Mini and the MIDI, which are the machines that are manual, you simply just put your 3D embossing folder through the mouth of the machine. Clearly not in the Mini, because I know it's a bigger one, but that doesn't need anything else. It doesn't need a platform, so you just pop that through the mouth of the machine, and that's if you get a MIDI LDD. So, yeah. Exception to the rule is you might need to add a shim of cardstock if you don't get a good, clean 3D first time. But but don't put it onto any folders. Don't put it onto the folder that comes with it, or don't put it in the folder that comes with it, because you'll bust your machine. You probably won't even get it through the mouth of the machine, in all honesty. But yeah, we do have tutorials on that. I've done those plenty of times before with the 101 on Gemini machines, which if Rachel can remember and then give us a little... I'm relying on Rachel for a lot today, let me tell you. But yeah, I've done plenty of 101s or crafty stashes with them as well. And I think she did tell me the other day, and I've completely forgotten, but with Gemini machines, and I think I've done one this year as well at the beginning of the year, where I've talked you through manual machines and electronic die cutting machines with embossing on both. So yeah, but if you do get a MIDI LDD, that's the combination. Right, sorry, Sam. He's just gone, Debbie, I'm not trying to alarm you, but you've got 30 minutes left and we've done nothing. Thanks for that, Sam, but thank you very much for keeping me in check, because you know what I'm like. Right, so first things first, let's do a little bit of inking with these. So I've taken some colours and I thought these might look quite nice on there. So I'm going to use a bit of orange, a bit of red and a bit of Bordeaux. So I'm just going to literally tickle over the tops. And I'm just going to literally blend between the three. Now, if you do love your colouring, get your colouring pencils, pens. If you're using water-based ones, obviously use watercolour cardstock as well. And then just create a little bit of colour over the top. And then we'll blend between the two. And I think whichever colouring medium you decide to use, everything looks absolutely stunning with these. Let me go move into the red. Oh yeah, that looks nice. Oh, bit of red and orange together, that looks beautiful. You can use finger daubers. I'm using a small round one rather than the big one. I prefer to use a small one when I'm working with a bit of detail. So that's the difference why you'll see me using between the two. And finger daubers, you can do it with a finger dauber as well, but I find that you get quite a nice bit laid down onto the small circular ink dauber, which of course are available on the website, I think. So let's come in and add. Now what you could do, ooh, I think I might actually. Yes, I will. I'll take that off in a second. I'll use a bit of green. So let's come in, tickle that around. When you're happy with the colour, and I'm going to dabble into a bit of the darker as well, just to go over the top, and that will pick up the higher rays, the 3D, it'll pick up that little bit more. So a mixture of three colours gives it more depth and more dimension, so it looks like you've coloured it. But I am going to come in with a bit of green because I've seen there's some leaves in there. And Sam's probably going to start palpitating because it's like, you've only got 25 minutes left of it. But I can do it. 27 minutes, thank you, Sam. Now I'm just going to trim off the edge of my where I've got like a little bit of overhang is the want of a better word I'm looking for, and I'm just going to no, that's fine, just a tiny bit. Just check that one, make sure that's at 5 1/4, and yeah, it is. So there we go. So that now measures at like 5 1/4. And looking really lovely, although I feel like a little bit more deeper to draw around the edge. I was thinking, Sam, as well, shaker card. Do you think I'm being a little bit ambitious again? Do you think it'll look good with a bit of a shaker element? Yeah, and then Sam's been helping me all week with ideas where we've started something and then we've gone, shall we do? This is what I'm like when I'm at home. I start with an idea. It always ends up going a little bit is off-piste a good word to say? Can I say that? Thank you. Have to just check. A bit too late, like, because I've said it. Yes, we keep changing up, don't we, Sam? Yeah, I like that. That's looking really lovely. Absolutely beautiful. So I'm done with those colours, but I am going to bring in, let me go and grab the green. So I'm going to grab I think I'll grab grasshopper if I can find it. Where's that? There it is. bit of grasshopper. Now I am going to bring in a little bit of water just to dab off a little bit of the excess colour that I've put down. I could have left it, but it can be a bit tricky. So let me grab a little paintbrush. Ooh, there we go, over that side. And I'm just going to go on where the leaves are, just to lift a bit of that red off. So I'm just going to paint over. And this is just to bleed out some of that red. And I'm just going to do it dotted around where all my little leaves are. Now, if you try doing that, you know, try doing it with your ink over the top and then missing it, it can be a bit tricky. So I'll do it this way because it will lift off quite a little bit. And then we're going to come in all the way around where I can see them. And then grab a piece of kitchen roll to kind of lift them, to lift out that colour. See one just down there as well. So let me grab some kitchen roll. Oh, where's the kitchen roll gone? Oh no, where's the kitchen roll gone? What the? The kitchen roll's disappeared. I'll have to make do with said tissue that's been used. That'll have to do. And that just lifts off a little bit of that excess ink. Not masses, but it lifts that off. Did I do that one, Sam? Or did I miss that one? Yeah, and it'll just bleed the colour out. So the longer you leave it on, the more it bleeds the colour out. And you can go back in and do that, but we are going to pick up the green and we're going to paint over the top. And I think that's all of my leafage, want of a better word. So I'm going to pop down a little bit of the water reactive grasshopper. Let's get all of those inks out of the way. And I'm going to use my clear overlay pen and I'm just going to paint over. And again, adds a little bit of sparkle to it as well. Oops, now then. I nearly went on my leaf then, Sam. My petal, sorry, not my leaf. But can you see now that just lifts off? And again, if you spend a bit of time on that to lift out a little bit more, you'll get more of a true green. But I actually quite like this. I like the mixture of the two, and I think it doesn't look too daft. You could colour it in with your pencils, you could colour it in with your alcohol markers. I'm just using literally the grasshopper from the Harmony ink pads. Basically, you can use any green. Now then, just want to make sure I've got all of the leaves down. There we go. Where's the other one, Sam? Oh, up at the top. There we go, and just colour those in. And then I think there's one here. In fact, I might need a bit more green. Let's just drop a bit more green down. We've got a green here. And there. And there. Oops, actually that might be a petal. Oh, it is. I'll get away with it. There's a bit of green there though, so let's just add a little bit more into there. And I think that might be everything. Let's go around and have a little nosy. One, oops, that's one because it's the, you know, this base of the base of the rose. Flower, 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 leaf. And then the flowers. That's it. That'll do. Right, just lift that. I'm just got a bit of clean there. And just dab off any excess, because obviously you'd use a heat tool to dry that off, but I quite like that. And I'm going to finish that off with a bit of gilding wax over the top. And which gold have I picked up? Oh, King Gold, that'll do. That will do. And it's just to go over the top of the flowers. And it adds a little bit of sparkle onto there. So a tiny little bit onto your glass mat. Dab that down so it's nearly almost dry. So you've just got a little bit onto your finger. And then just go over the top. And it picks up again, on the higher part of the embossing. And it just gives it a nice little, it's a nice little look to do. And I am going to go over the leaves as well, so it adds a little bit more depth into there. Let's just add a bit more. And I'm going to go all the way around, and then we'll buff that off. We'll get a little cloth. Uh-oh. Is anybody around that can help find me some kitchen roll? We did have it. We had a big one in here, and it's disappeared. I don't know where it's gone. That's so bizarre, because I popped in. I usually make sure everything's here. What was that, Sam? Oh, bless what, my gorgeous George of the joystick? Is he in? Oh, he's an angel. He's an angel. He's gone to go and find me some. Because you do need to take the excess off. Debbie's now got a running eye and trying to do it with a bit of the towel that I've just used to pick my ink up with. Right, I think I'm happy with that. Let's just have a little flash. Yeah, that looks really, really lovely. I like that a lot. You can add a bit more on, but I'm just making sure I've gone all the way around, which I'm more than happy with. I have got a little wipe, so I'm going to do a little bit of housekeeping while we have a little look. Thank you so much, George. You are so kind. Thank you. Got a bit of tissue now, so I can do a little bit of housekeeping. I can clean off the area, because obviously gilding wax does dry, and it will dry on there. And usually, if you can get it while it's wet, struggling with the wipes there. If you can get it while it's wet, you can get a bit off, but because it is warm in the studio, you probably see that it's not taking it all off straight away, but just keep going over and give it a clean. You can use things like, what's the word I'm looking for? Stick away. The spray that gets rid of absolutely everything, gubbins and the lot. But I'm just going to keep it there. Now, I am going to use this tissue just to give it a little buff over the top. And it's just to give that shine with the gilding wax, which is an oil-based medium. And it also takes off the excess. So where I've gone a little bit heavy-handed, it takes off the excess as well, but it gives it that extra little bit of shine. I usually use a cloth at home. I've got like some little old cloths because they do get bitty, they tear a little bit there. So I'm just all of that done. And then go on, Sam, shall we do, let's do it. Can we do it in 20 minutes? Yes, we can. Listen, if I can do a 3D cube card in an hour, I'm pretty sure I can do a little shaker card. Now, this is 5 1/4 by 5 1/4, so, in fact, let me use my smaller one. We're going to add some acetate round the back, and I'm going to make it at 5 1/4 by 5 1/4, just so it fits over there perfectly for me. And then we're going to grab some foam. On a roll, she says. In fact, we'll stick that down first, Debbie. Stop getting carried away with yourself. I'm going to use a tape pen to attach. No tape in said tape pen, all gone. That must be because I took this from the Craftaganza box. The guys were working busy, weren't they, over the week? Has this one got some in? Let's have a little look. Do you know, we're not having much. Look, Sam, what did we say, 20 minutes? Aha, we've got one. Woohoo! 17 minutes left. I've set myself a bit of a tall challenge now. Whoa. Craft your stash with Debbie. Let's see what we can complete in an hour. Not very much. Right, I'm happy with that. I've got my glue all the way around. What did we do with the acetate? There it is. And then we're going to line that up. There we go. And anything that's overhanging, which I'll just have a quick peek. Oh, they've done that pretty well. Woohoo! Get me. Right, we're going to use a, now then, foam on a roll. Have we got some in? We've got a thicker one. That'll do. I think this is what I got from the Craftaganza box as well. I was tidying up and I can see that the guys have been using it, but it will do and it will make do for this. So we're going to pop our foam on a roll. Make sure you've got the connection so that there's no gaps, so nothing will fall out. If you've got the foam on a roll, it is bendable and pliable, so you can actually bend it around. But because this is not so pliable, bendable, want of a better word, I'm going to just make sure my joins are all joined up, so nothing's escaping. But I'm also going to put just a little bit in there to stop it from moving down into the corner, and a little bit there. And then also a little bit up at the top as well. So it's come in and it'll give me a little bit of a lift as well. Now, if you want a little bit of space, in fact, I don't need it there. If you want a little bit of space for them to move around, you can double layer that. So you've got a nice gap. When I mean a gap, you've got quite a nice big gap, which I think I might do actually. Yeah, we will. She says, with less than 15 minutes left now. Now then, Sam, do we get any extra time today? What do I have to bribe you with today? Although I didn't make you a cup of tea yesterday, did I? Shocking behaviour. I asked him for some extra time. He gave me a few extra minutes. Did I make him a cuppa? Did I heck? I completely forgot. Completely forgot. Apologies, Sam. I promise I'll make you one today. Oh dear. Now we're going to come in and do a double layer. You know, really, I shouldn't be doing double layers when I've only got 15 minutes left. And we've still got to put a card base together and a sentiment and add it on. Oh, my goodness me. Talk about pushing myself to the limits. Have faith, Debbie, says Rachel. It's like speed crafting by the end. I'm always the same. Calm will resume on Monday because Craig's back in. I'm pretty sure he'll have got something lined up for you that'll be nice and calming. And I don't want my coffee to go to cold. However, I do want a double layer because I want a little bit of space. So it's going to be worth it. I promise, it'll be worth it. So a bit of double layering with the foam gives extra movement for your sequins to bounce around in. And of course, if you are putting bigger things in, like gems and things like that, which always look gorgeous in the middle of a shaker, rather than, you know, your regular sequins, you do need extra space for something that's a bit chunkier. So it's well worth it double layering up. And the foam on a roll has about 10 metres on, I think, if I remember rightly. Now then, before I actually get more, I'm going to trap mine into some more acetate. So I'm just going to cut down another piece of acetate that will fit over there. Makes it a bit easy for myself when it comes to layering it down, because I always have difficulty sometimes in putting it down and then getting your sequins or your gems into place without them escaping everywhere. So my personal preference is to trap it in with another layer of acetate over the top, and it keeps it all in. That's my personal preference. Other people do different things as well. I also like to rub with an anti-static bag over there so that I don't get anything jumping around. Now then, do we use gems or shall we use glitter? Let's use a bit of glitter. Yeah, we could have a mixture as well. So I'm going to come in and just take off all of those pieces. Keep me in check, Sam. 15 minutes, thank you. He's giving me some extra time. God love you, Sam. Thank you. Does anybody else ask for extra time, or is it just me, Sam? It's just me. Oh no, Debbie and Craig, they're so good. They're going to be getting in an hour. The thing is, if you've ever watched me do a Facebook Live at home, you'll know I don't craft in an hour. I'll be there for about 2-3 hours. I am, terrible. I just get carried away with myself. It's because I like to talk, I like to chat. Not that I think you know that, but I do. Now, I am using a lot of this gorgeous chunky glitter. I've also got a fan on. Let us hope nothing happens when I seal that in. So I'm going to do exactly the same, seal it over the top. Don't worry if you've got like a little bit of overhang, and spreading that out. Oh God, that looks delicious. Let's turn that over. Oh, yes. Now I have got a overhang here with the acetate that I've just put on. I'm fine with that because I can take my scissors or your guillotine and just snip that off. And I've got a little bit there. But what I've got is a gorgeous shaker with that beautiful glitter inside. That looks divine. Now then, what did I do with my card, Sam? So I've got my card, got my base, looks a bit bare. So what do we need? We need mats and layers. I'm just going to have to shove all my rubbish to one side, Sam. I start all tidy and then everything goes away. Everything goes away. So I've got my 2 paper pads that I'm going to use for my mats and layers. I've gone with the Valentine shade pad and also I've gone with this gorgeous pad because I could have put that behind the back. You know, I could have sealed it with a piece of cardstock underneath. But, oh yeah. What do you think, guys? Yeah, I quite like that. What do you think? That looks nice. The reason I chose this pad is because of the florals. I love the love hearts, I'm not going to lie. That is also gorgeous. Delicious. I think I'm going to go back to that one that I said I liked, which was it? Where's it gone? Come on, Debbie. That one. I do love that. So that's the one I'm going to use. And then I'm going to match the cardstock. Do we have it in the ivory? White's a bit too stark. Oh, yes, we'll have a bit of red. Let's go with a bit of red. So, 8x8 card was the first one we had. So we're going to come down to 7 3/4 with our first mat and layer. So we've got 7 3/4 by 7 3/4. Then our card paper, our first layer of the paper, will be 7.5 by 7.5. So let's come in at 7.5 by 7.5. Now this base is 5 1/4. However, I want it to lift a bit, so I am going to bring in a sheet of white again, just to give it that little lift. And so I'm going to take that to 5.5 by 5.5. And that just gives it a little bit of framing so it doesn't get lost with the mats and layers that I'm going to do. So we're going to put that onto 5.5 by 5.5. Then I'm going to bring in that red again. However, I'm not going to waste any more red. I'm going to take out the centre with my paper trimmer. And that will give me it should give me the base for, let's just take that in, should we go in 3/4 of an inch? It should give me a layer so that I can then chop down to sit the 5.5 by 5.5 on. We'll have a little look once we've got that out. If my measurements are right, we should have got that perfectly. There we are. So let me just now pop that down there. And I want this to be 5 3/4, and yes, so I'm not wasting any more cardstock, but what I'm doing is allowing a little mat and layer for these to sit on the top of. So we'll get that layered down with a bit of glue. Now, what did I do with the glue? Glue, there you are. So glue onto my mats and layers. Gosh, you can tell it's warm in here, and the bag's been in here overnight. So literally now, we'll layer all these pieces on. Thank you very much, Sam. 10 minutes, thank you. I think we'll be on course to complete, hopefully. There we go. So that's the first mat and layer. That is now going to sit into there as well. So it just kind of frames it. I've just seen another little overhang with me acetate, so I'm just going to come in and just snip that down. There we go. That's perfect. Now, I'm using acetate, so glue on there, that's no good. I need to pop some tape on, so I'm going to use red liner tape. So let me grab a bit of red liner tape. Thank you, Sam. He says, Debbie, just a quick thing. Did you put the lid on the glitter? Sam, no, I didn't. It's because I've not looked up at there and I hadn't. And yes, that could have been a catastrophe. Thank you very much, you eagle-eyed viewers, because you spotted that, alerted Sam, Sam alerted me. That could have been a disaster because that would have been a studio full of glitter and sparkle. But you know what? Hey, don't think that would have been too bad. Thank you very much, Alexander Gerling, for noticing that I hadn't put the top on the glitter. You are very observant. Is anybody else the same in the craft room? Do you think of those things? Because I don't. And that's when I end up with crafty disasters, quite literally. And Rebecca Dancer, thank you so much, because Rebecca also noticed that too. So I'm just going to give myself a little bit of... try and get that. I'm so sorry if you've got my head in the way. I just need to just try and get a little bit higher up because I am on a very tall counter, and I couldn't quite see there, but I'm just going to seal that down, and that looks perfect. Yeah, that looks lovely. Now, card base, back on. We're going to put the frame down. Frame, glue, frame, there you are. So I'm going to put the glue down onto the frame, and then we'll pop that on there. And just gives me a bit of wiggle time to get that into the right position. There we are, perfect. And then layer the cardstock over the top of that, which is just the most beautiful cardstock, and I feel, I mean, I could of course extract some of that centre too, but time is of the essence, and I want to read a few more comments for you guys as well, because I'm conscious I've not looked up while I've been speed crafting just to finish the project, whilst we're crafting our stash. Oh yeah, now we're talking. That is looking very nice. So I'm just going to pop a bit of glue. So 7 minutes and counting, so I might have to do a little bit of a, because I need to put a sentiment on there now. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. There's only one sentiment, I think. There's only one. I mean, it's got to be done. Don't you laugh at me, Sam. We'll have a double layer, and we're going to run our mini through this just to finish this off. And whilst we're doing that, I'm going to try and read. I'm going to try and read some of the comments, because just like I said, there's no other sentiment that I can use. I don't think there's anything that would not look right on there. Of course, it is a love heart, so with love seems to be the order of choice, or Debbie's slight obsession. And do you know what I forgot to do to the guys when I asked for, do you know they were asking for ideas for the next round of product development? I forgot to ask for these in a bigger scale, because I do love these dies. You may see that I use them a lot. I think I'm renowned for chunky glue and the with love die in this building. I think everybody knows me for that reason. And also being a rather messy crafter, because if you look in front of me, chaos has literally taken over the building. But just got to do that. How many minutes have we got left, Sam? 5.5. Perfect. Perfect timing. And I think we will be just in time. Now, do we do, let's bring that back in. Do we do red and white, white and red? I personally think white and red, because we've done red and white. Can you see? Or, I don't think it'd look too bad. Sam, which do you think you liked? I think I preferred that one. Breaks it up a little bit, so we'll go with that one. Yeah, we'll do that. Right, dotty tape pen to the rescue. No, you're not Dotty. You're Dotty. Right, let's get the Dotty in. Bit of speed crafting now to get finished. And I think, to be fair, to say at past I'd only done the embossing, I don't think I've done too bad. So again, let's pop on lots of the Dotty around the back of that sentiment. Now then, this is where we decide, oh, I think there's only one place for it. I think it has to be the middle. So let's go into the middle. And then I'm just going to finish off with a little bit of sparkle. Got to have a bit of sparkle on a card. So let's grab some of my favourite gems. Let me grab my tacky glue. And then we're just going to literally drop down some random bits of glue all the way around and add the gems. So let me pick up some gems. We'll have different sizes. And we're just going to randomly drop those around the card in different, from large to small. Did I drop there? Let's drop a bit there. And then we're going to just finish off adding, and I do love a bit of sparkle, and it won't be a Debbie card without a little bit of sparkle on. And I think sparkle is going to be the name of the game throughout the day. So I'm just going to drop that one. That one. Are we doing all right for time, Sam? How are we doing for time? 3 minutes and counting. Nearly done, guys. We're nearly there. Let's go in and, oh, one down the bottom. Let's just flick those the right way around. There we are, and one more. We'll have another big one down that side. There we go. And we're all done. Get that. We've finished it, Sam. Little bit of chaos in front of me, like, but we have got a beautiful, with the macro folders, and we've gone big. So just to show you that you can go big with those as well. So I'll just angle that, and a nice little shaker card as well to boot. Oh, I really enjoyed that show. I hope you guys did too. Hot drink to cool down, says Tracy on YouTube. I still say that saying to my adult and younger kids, laugh out loud. They are not sold. Me neither. And I think I've got it cold. It's gone cold. We're going to forget that one. Louise Burton on Facebook have been wanting to do this technique but didn't know where to start. Well, I hope that's helped, Louise. Catherine Bennett on YouTube says, loving these shows, Debbie, you're very inspirational. Thank you, Catherine. You're very kind. I'm making yesterday's cube card for my son-in-law. Ah, yes. Stephen Nicole said, have faith, Debbie. I did it, Stephen. I did it. I don't know how, but I did. Tracy on YouTube says, good tip. I wouldn't have thought of doing wouldn't have thought to do just one colour with the leaves on top. And Rebecca, I've just seen Debbie put the lid on the glitter. Alexandra says, my craft floor gets messy enough without adding glitter. You really had me panicking there. And Louise says she's going to copy this later. Thank you very much. Red on the black. Did I do it the right way around? I don't think I did. Sorry, Rach. Rebecca says, I've really enjoyed all your morning shows this week, Debbie. Thank you very much. And Paul Prince on YouTube says, a beautiful card, Debbie. Thank you very much. I hope you have enjoyed all of this week's Crafty Stash shows. Don't know what is going off with this eye, but goodness me, need to go and get that fixed. But I hope you have enjoyed my Crafty Stash shows this week. I think we've covered lots of different things. Always send in the ideas. Let us know what you want to see, because obviously there's myself, Debbie and Craig, that can cover that for you when we do these shows. But I've really enjoyed it. I'm not going anywhere though, because we have got at 12 p.m. here in an hour's time, wake-up call with myself and Ben, where we're going to give you a little insight to what's coming up today. And I can't wait. Don't know about you, but I can't wait for you to see the hunky-dory kits that we've got on the show today. I love hunky-dory. I've got a soft spot for it. It's where I started my crafting little journey, so to speak, in terms of where I started with paper craft. So I'm really looking forward to that show with our Ben. Again, there is not a massive amount, so if it's something that interests you when you see it, do not hang around. We can't promise any more quantities. I've just seen Mr. Mosby enter the building, gave him a little wave because he had something in his mouth then. I don't know what he got in there, but I'll go and find out in a second. How long have we got, Sam? Oh, right, I better get my skates on. Do go and join us in an hour's time. Go and do what you need to do and come back here at 12 o'clock, where we will give you an insight to everything coming up for the rest of the day. Bye for now.